they're using Roger as an example of how the leadership in Massachusetts Bay can't control its people.
Right.
So Massachusetts Bay has to crack down, and they crack down on Roger, their friend. Okay, they give him the opportunity to shut up. He refuses. So they literally tell him he has to leave. He starts off being sick, but he ends up keeping a promise that he can't preach those dangerous opinions in church. Okay, but what he does do, as he's waiting for the spring to arrive so he can go back home, he discusses those ideas at his house, and pretty soon his house is more crowded than the churches are. Mm-hmm. It was too much for the authorities in Boston. They send troops up in January of 1636 to arrest him, put him on the next boat back to England.
Right.
Hip deep snow, so cold that Narragansett Bay froze over. He gets word that they're coming up to get him and get him out of there. So he's, as John Cotton says, he is enlarged to the world. He escapes into the wilderness. But he's a city boy from London in a New England winter that's harsh by even today's standards. Mm-hmm. Within a couple of days, he would have froze to death. He's found by some Native Americans who take him in. They bring him down to Wampanoag territory. They give him shelter. They feed him. They take care of him. Okay. Eventually, he makes a deal with the leadership of the Narragansett for the land that is now Providence. Mm-hmm. Okay. Providence, that area that he's allowed to live in, okay, was a resource spot that was used for thousands of years by all the Native American groups around here.
Sure.
And if you look at a modern map, the roads are based on Native American highways that used to go through this area. Route 1, Route 44, Route 6, all go to Providence. Mm-hmm. This huge saltwater cove with lobsters, clams, oysters, okay, salmon for 2 rivers worth, a freshwater spring, flat area, places where they would have seasonally, they'd go there to gather the resources, okay? Roger's one more resource for the Narragansett.
Right. So, I mean, you say he makes a deal with them.
Yeah.
And essentially what that is, they find an opportunity and he finds an opportunity for him to do what he's good at, which is buy and trade goods.
Yeah.
Right? And they allow him to do that in the place where there's a lot of goods and things already being traded. Right. So right. It's like, hey, you can come and move in the market.
Yeah.
Oh, you do this for a living? Well, we have this open place in the market. You can come and live here.
But there's more than that he's obligated to, too. Mm-hmm. Okay? He is a translator. He's the mediator in between the Narragansett and all the other English. When the Narragansett want to send a message to the English in Boston, who they don't get along with, Roger's the one that gets to write it down.
Which, again, is a skill that he had in London. And so he's just applying things that he's been doing forever.
He's the mediator in between the English and the native population that's living here.
Do you think at the time everybody saw that as a beneficial agreement? Or
You mean both sides, Native American and English?
Sure, yeah, and not like all the English, right? Because there were, the people in Massachusetts Bay didn't want him to be on the continent at all. And now all of a sudden he's got a pretty powerful role in a place that he's not supposed to be in.
Well, that was the whole thing. This little place was outside of the Massachusetts Bay jurisdiction.
So they didn't get to say.
They didn't get a say. You know who had to say? The Narragansett. Mm-hmm. There's 20, 30,000 Narragansett, and Providence is maybe 150 people.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the relationship.
Right.
Okay? And Roger makes a deal with them. He says, I'll be the mediator. I'll provide you with these English goods that you want from these other people but don't trust. Mm-hmm. Okay? We'll build this neighborhood, this relationship as neighbors.